As Jeffrey Donaldson, let's just be clear on one thing. The full-time reserve, the Chief Constable has said it will be phased out. You've said in those circumstances you can't see policing and justice being devolved. Is that now a final and firm precondition?
Well, Jim, when we wrote to the Prime Minister several weeks ago, we spelled out in detail the issues that we felt needed to be resolved before policing and justice devolution could take effect. And one of those, and a very important one, was the full-time reserve. Now, all of this is about building public confidence, and I think that what happened at the weekend with the Chief Constable's decision has undermined public confidence. Given that we have a high-level security threat, the Chairman of the Police Federation tells us that there is a real risk to the lives of officers that he represents if this decision goes ahead, and we simply can't ignore that. Under no circumstances, I have to be realistic, I don't think that the basis exists to build the confidence that is necessary to enable devolution to take place. That's why we need to find a way of resolving this issue. And I don't think that what was said at the weekend should be the last and final word on this. I think we need to work with the Chief Constable to look at ways in which those officers who want to remain, and I accept there are full-time reservists who are ready to retire, they've got a package in place, and we can't stop those officers. It would be unfair to stop them from proceeding with retirement. But there are still a significant number of the full-time reserve officers who want to continue making a contribution to policing, whose presence and experience we believe is essential. We're hearing that from police commanders on the ground, and therefore we believe those officers should be retained. OK,
you're talking about the officers now, not the full-time reserve itself. So if those officers who wish to stay are given some means to stay in service, you'll be happy with that. In other words, what you said earlier today, that if the full-time reserve is disbanded, I don't think that devolution of policing and justice will proceed, is not what you mean. What you mean is if those officers who want to stay are given an option, then that's OK.
Well, I did say that earlier on the Nolan programme as well. I made it clear that what we meant was that those officers who have a valuable contribution to make, who want to remain, should be allowed to do so. Given the high level of security threat, and given the necessity for having more officers on the front line dealing with that threat from terrorism, then the experience of those officers who want to remain should not be dispensed with.
Johnson, how many officers are we talking about who want to stay? Is it about 150 we're talking about?
Well, perhaps more than that. I mean, let me just deal with what Alex has said. I'm not accusing the Chief Constable of lying. I'm simply accusing him, or I'm saying that, in my opinion, he's made a misjudgment on this. And we have a duty to ensure that the community who feel vulnerable at the moment are properly and adequately protected. Now, we've got...
But are you trying to tell him how to do his job, operationally?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that strategically we believe there is a need to retain full-time reservists who have a very valuable contribution to make, who have a lot of experience in dealing with terrorism. And we talk to commanders on the ground in those areas where there is a high threat from the dissidents, and they say, we don't want to dispense with these officers, we need their support and their experience. So what we're saying is that we think that Matt Baggett has made the wrong judgment call. It has undermined confidence in the public, and if we're going to build confidence, then the police need to have the resources that they require. It's not just the DUP are saying that, it's also the Chairman of the Police Federation, and he ought to know. He talks regularly to his officers, he gets the feedback from them, and the feedback he is getting is that within the PSNI itself there is strong opposition to the complete disbandment of the full-time reserve.
To be clear, Jeffrey Donaldson, Jim Allister is going to listen to what you said now in this programme, what you said this morning, and say you've already backtracked. Earlier you were saying it was the full-time reserve, now you're only talking about officers and how they might be accommodated.
Well, if you'd listened to the whole programme on Nolan, Jim, you would have heard me say very, very clearly that there are officers who want to go, who are have retirement packages in place, who are at retirement age, and we understand, as have hundreds of full-time reserve officers hitherto taken that package, we will lose some of those officers. But there are still a substantial number of officers who want to remain. Full-time reserve officers.
You don't care if they remain in some other capacity?
No, I do care how they remain. I don't want them put into some back office job or doing security duties. I want their experience used. Alex says that it takes a lot of money to train a police officer. Here we have a large number of very experienced, well-trained police officers, not yet at retirement age, who have still a number of years to give to policing in Northern Ireland. Why on earth would we want to dispense with their services?
Jeffrey, if you tell the public...
to bring in agency staff to do policing work,
Jeffrey,
I mean, frankly, it doesn't stack up. And therefore, I'm not changing our position. Our position is very clear, Jim, and has been consistent. We believe that the full-time reservists who have a continuing contribution to make to policing in Northern Ireland should be retained, and we believe the Chief Constable needs to review his decision to disband them.